He's great. I have an interesting fact for Paul. His dad used to be a professional footballer and is famous in Stoke. So any football fans in the audience? Kind of. So someone will have a word with you later, Paul. So please give it up for Paul Smith.
Are you going to be that explosive, Bob?
No.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, so Richard and I just say talk about your passion when you come to Bettakultcha. Well, for me, it's coffee. I'm a bit of a coffee geek. In fact, there's a few signs of being a coffee geek. Amongst those are the only festival I went to this year was the London Coffee Festival. So 4 days in London, coffee shops, roasters, machine manufacturers, 4 days of coffee heaven. Another sign is this is an app that's on my phone. I spend many hours traipsing past Starbucks and Costa and Nero and all of those awful chains looking for the proper coffee shop that is recommended. And this is perhaps my favourite possession in the whole world. It's a pouring kettle. And this spout here allows you to pour the water at the right pace onto your coffee. I went to the UK Barista Championships as a spectator. Not that funny. This guy, John Gordon, in the middle, he's a bit of a hero. He represented the UK in the World Barista Championships in Australia. I didn't go. And much to my wife's disappointment, I do take my kitchen scales on holiday so that I can weigh out my beans. Really, really important to be able to weigh your beans. And so, anyway, a number of things about coffee, some interesting facts on coffee. It all started in Ethiopia. In fact, all the coffee in the world is indigenous to Ethiopia, and only a few plants ever came out of Ethiopia and spread across the world, and now it's it's understood that actually it was recognised as being something that gave you energy because goats were eating it in Ethiopia, eating the leaves, and the caffeine was making them frisky, and the farmers decided that they would start eating the leaves, and then they changed to brewing the beans, and now it's grown right across what is called the bean belt. So it's the tropics, really. In the 17th century, coffee houses were banned because they were an area where they were called penny universities, actually, where people came together to talk about different things. It was kind of the newspapers of the day. Coffee grows on trees, but they're all cultivated, so it's very low, and actually they're berries, they're not beans. It's the seed of a red berry, as you can see from the photo here. It's the second most traded commodity on earth, second only to oil. And the coffee beans are this kind of green colour when picked, and then they're roasted to a brown. So I thought I'd just kind of conclude with how to make a good coffee at home. It's not a particularly expensive thing to do, but you just need the right equipment. You need scales, obviously. But the first thing you need is beans. You know, buy fresh beans. That's probably the only rule. Buy fresh beans and grind them yourself. Good quality beans from a roaster where you know the date on which it was roasted. You need a grinder. Obviously, you're going to want to grind coffee fresh just before you drink it, and you need your scales to be able to weigh out and make sure you get your volumes correct. You need something to brew it in, so they're not particularly expensive. Most people have got a cafetiere French press. This is a little thing called an AeroPress, which, as my colleagues from work know, I've got one in the office. So these are some photos I took, actually, of me making the coffee at the weekend. So 19 grams of coffee weighed out, Make sure the grind is appropriate for your brew method, and you just need to look that up. And there's loads, amazing amount of websites that can show you that. Make sure you warm your cup. Make sure so this I'm going to use a pour over method. Weigh out my water, 324 grams there for the 19 grams of coffee. Use the first 100 grams to allow the coffee to bloom, and then slowly pour it. And that, my pouring kettle allows me to slowly pour it to pour it out for about 2.5 minutes, and then you end up with a beautiful fresh cup of coffee. Thank you.